Coin 1965 Jefferson nickel sitting in a jar somewhere, don't let its appearance fool you. In fact, the dirtier and more worn it looks, the more carefully you should inspect it. Most people see a dark, scratched-up nickel from the 1960s and assume it's only worth 5 cents. They spend it without a second thought. But every year, collectors discover ordinary-looking 1965 nickels that turn out to be worth hundreds, thousands, and in rare cases, astonishing amounts of money because of tiny details that almost everyone misses. The year 1965 is especially interesting because America was going through a major coin shortage. The U.S. Mint was producing enormous numbers of coins to keep up with demand, and millions of Jefferson nickels poured into circulation. Since so many were made, nearly everyone assumes none of them could ever be valuable. That's exactly why rare examples continue to hide in plain sight. They blend in with the common coins because nobody expects a 1965 nickel to be special. The first thing you should know is that dirt, scratches, and discoloration do not automatically make a coin worthless. In fact, many valuable Jefferson nickels have spent decades bouncing around cash registers, pockets, vending machines, and coin jars before someone finally noticed what made them different. A worn coin can still be an extremely valuable coin if it has the right characteristics. One of the biggest things collectors look for on a 1965 Jefferson nickel is an unusual strike. Because the mint was operating at full speed, some coins weren't struck as cleanly as they should have been, while others were struck in unusual ways that created dramatic mint errors. These mistakes happened before the coins ever left the mint, making them highly desirable today. Take a close look at the date. Even if it's dirty, use a flashlight and a magnifying glass if you have one. Does anything look unusual? Are parts of the numbers doubled? Do they appear thicker than normal? Is the lettering around the edge unusually bold or strangely distorted? Small details like these can completely change the value of what appears to be an ordinary nickel. Next, examine Thomas Jefferson's portrait. If you notice extra lines around the lettering or the profile that don't look like ordinary wear, don't dismiss them. Some collectors have discovered doubled features that dramatically increase the value of their coin. To the average person, it just looks like an old nickel. To an experienced collector, it could be a significant mint variety. Now flip the coin over and study Monticello. This is where many valuable clues can be hiding. Pay attention to the steps leading up to the building. Even though your coin may be worn, a sharply struck example with unusually clear details is often worth much more than a typical circulated coin. Collectors appreciate coins that were struck exceptionally well, especially from years when high-speed production sometimes resulted in weaker strikes. Then there's another possibility that excites collectors even more: off-center strikes. Imagine a nickel that entered the coining press slightly out of position. Instead of a perfectly centered design, part of the image is missing while a blank crescent appears around one side. Many people think the coin was damaged after it left the mint, but that's not the case. If the date is still visible and the off-center strike occurred during production, the coin can become surprisingly valuable. Another mistake to watch for is a clipped planchet. This happens before the coin is even struck. A small curved section of the metal blank is missing because the blanking machine overlapped another hole. The finished coin looks like someone took a bite out of it. Most people assume it's damaged, but collectors immediately recognize it as a genuine mint error that can command impressive prices. Don't overlook coins that appear slightly crooked or oddly shaped. A broadstrike error occurs when the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking fails to do its job. The result is a coin that's wider than normal with missing edge details. At first glance it may simply look worn or bent, but to the right buyer it could be an exciting find. Here's something else that surprises many people. Even small die cracks can add value. As minting dies wore out from striking millions of coins, tiny cracks sometimes developed. Those cracks transferred raised lines onto the finished coins. If you see thin raised lines crossing parts of the design, don't immediately assume they're scratches. Raised lines can be evidence of a die crack, and collectors enjoy identifying these unique production flaws. Many viewers make one costly mistake after finding an unusual-looking nickel. They immediately try to clean it. That can destroy much of its collector value in seconds. Cleaning removes the natural surface that collectors expect to see on older coins. Even if the coin looks brighter afterward, its desirability often drops dramatically. If you think you found something unusual, leave it exactly as you found it. Auction records have shown that exceptional 1965 Jefferson nickels with dramatic mint errors or outstanding condition have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. While the average circulated 1965 nickel is still worth only face value, rare examples prove that appearances can be incredibly deceptive. The challenge is recognizing the difference before someone unknowingly spends the coin. One of the reasons these discoveries continue to happen is because nearly everyone ignores nickels. People search pennies, quarters, and silver coins, but 5-cent pieces often sit untouched in jars for decades. That creates an incredible opportunity for anyone willing to spend a few minutes looking closely. The next valuable discovery may already be sitting in your change without anyone realizing it. Imagine finding an old coffee can filled with nickels collected over the last 50 years. Most people would dump them into a coin counting machine without looking. But someone who understands what to watch for might spot one unusual strike, one dramatic error, or one extraordinary example that changes everything. It only takes one rare coin to make the search worthwhile.